Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV, and what is a bitterly disappointing / sad / frustrating / angry / everything that Leicester could possibly provide me.
I hate football.
This was a day that we were so looking forward to, because like I said in the podcast, I was hoping for the scenic route into Europe. That's now off the cards after what was a pedestrian performance where ultimately Olympiakos were the better team and were the deserved winners. But I'm with Dan the Man Mounty in the shadows of the Emirates, and we're going to go through the ratings of, I'm going to assume they're going to be quite low.
It's an absolute massacre.
So let's leave Leno till last, actually, because obviously
we'll go with Leno first. So, Leno gets a 3. Because I was too busy typing, obviously doing the match ball or whatever, I didn't initially see what happened, but I've watched it back. What was he doing? Just kick the ball up the pitch.
Rose edge.
Don't mess around with it.
Rose edge your only option.
Yeah, just kick it out. Just kick it out of play, but not for a corner, basically, or put it up the field. Stupid mistake. Probably could have done more for the goals as well, so 3 for him.
Yeah, I think a 3 is actually quite generous. That mistake, really, honestly, it's our last opportunity for Europe. There was 5 minutes left of the extra time period. All he had to do was rosette it.
Just kick it up the pitch.
Anywhere. I
Seriously?
was sitting there with Grumpy Glenn, and I said to him...
Oh, God, that was fun, wasn't it?
I said to him, just play it into the corner. I went, no, not our corner. And I literally turned to Glenn, I went, we're going to concede here.
Yeah.
And 30 seconds later, we did.
Yeah.
So... I imagine the fullbacks, let's move on to them. Let's start with Saka, because I think Saka obviously shouldn't have played against Everton, so he wasn't fully fit for this, because it's only 4 days ago, so he didn't have the normal gas and sort of energy for the game he would have had usually, so I feel as though his performance today was a bit stunted, but...
Yeah, I gave him a 5. I don't think he did a lot well, I don't really did a lot wrong, to be fair. It was just middle of the road, average performance, really.
Yeah.
Maybe could have got closer to the man for the final goal, who crossed it in, but, plenty of other people to blame for that, who we'll come on to.
Yes. Well, I think
5.
Let's move on to the other 4 backs. Move on to Bellerin. I thought Bellerin also had a fairly middle-of-the-road performance.
4, didn't really do a lot. Looks a bit rusty still. Obviously, as I said, after the Everton game, give him a bit of time. It's going to take minutes to get that rustiness gone. Obviously, an ACL injury is never good, and it does take a lot of time to get back to full strength and fitness. So, maybe could do with a little bit of a spell out of the team, but I think he does need the minutes. So 4.
Yeah, fair enough. And then centre backs, I thought Mustafi actually. I thought Mustafi had a bright game.
What?
I thought he
My
had a
man
great
of the
game.
match. I gave him 7.5. I thought he defended really well, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think if he'd have stayed on, we would have gone through.
Yes. Yeah, I thought Mustafi was actually a real highlight.
And aware and alive to everything that was going on. He made a really good block in the second half where it was 2-on-1. Just defended really well. His resurgence continues. And as I say, if he'd have stayed on, probably would have gone through, to be fair.
I mean, there was a tweet that I think Leith put out during the game that was absolutely fantastic about Mustafi and described it perfectly, which was he's actually... You kind of put your sort of your hand in your mouth, really. But when he actually defends well, he defends so well. Considering the first half of the season, he was absolutely abject. Now he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's probably our best defender now. To be fair, I can't believe I'm saying it. What a weird evening.
David Luiz was next. I thought David Luiz didn't really show up.
Do you know what? When you go into the army and the first thing when you go in, they shave your head. I just want to shave his head and get him into line. Seriously, switch on. Why for that cross was he just watching? Yeah. Just step in front of your man and clear the ball. Seriously, that's the thing with him. There's not enough focus.
No.
Just switch on and do your job. It's the final minute of a game where if you concede, you're out and you're not going to have a chance to go and get another goal and go through. I say that, we'll come on to Aubameyang. But Luis should have been more switched on for me.
Massively.
Disappointing.
A player that wasn't switched on at all was Dani Ceballos. He was, I thought, very pedestrian today.
Well, he wasn't the only one. I thought he did okay in terms of the defensive side of it. I think he, swept up a few times, which is fairly decent, but didn't do enough going forward. So 5.
I think 5's actually a little bit generous for a man that just didn't really put his considering he's trying to sort of stay in the Arsenal side. He wants us to sign him. He wants to stay in because he knows that Real Madrid don't want to really want him back. He's not really going to play under Zidane. He didn't really put his all in. He didn't seem like a player that really tried.
I think also we'll come on to Ozil, but he created a few problems with Ceballos because he kept coming so deep. As I say, we'll come on to Ozil, but I don't think it particularly helped Xhaka or Ceballos.
Yeah, let's move on to Xhaka quickly then. I thought Xhaka had a middle-of-the-road performance with some highlights, some lowlights. I thought he was very middle of the road. Wasn't bad, wasn't great.
5.5. I thought if there was one player who looked like he was going to try and get the ball forward, it was him. I mean, that pass he played for Pepe that kind of ended up in the chance that Lacazette headed wide. Superb pass, and I think that's obviously his best quality. Spraying balls forward and out wide. I thought it was fairly okay, 5.5.
That's fair. Well, let's move on to the other side. Let's move on to Pepe.
5.5 as well. I think he looked like Arsenal's most dangerous attacker.
Yeah.
Just didn't really have the own product, and I just sometimes want to scream at him, pass the ball.
Well, he did do one part where the second half, towards the end of the game, he was basically just skinning players left and right in the box, just hoping one of them would put a wild tackle in.
He didn't really have a lot to...
But he was just hoping to get that one wild tackle so he could get a pen, get the goal, and then just play into the corner.
He didn't really have a lot of options at times, to be fair, and I think that was why he was just lumping hopeless balls into the box. I don't think there was enough movement around him. But yeah, I mean, as I say, it looks probably Arsenal's most dangerous player.
Yeah.
Just needs to do more in terms of the end product, basically.
Well, then let's go into the main man of talk of Ozil, Grumpy Glenn's favourite player. And I was sitting with Grumpy Glenn today for half the game, and Grumpy Glenn was sort of like first 70 minutes he was invisible, which is, I think, what we've said for most of the season. But he then said the last 20 minutes, Ozil really, really put it on, and I didn't see it myself.
Glenn, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. I know we've said time and time again on the podcast that money shouldn't come into it, blah, blah, blah. But he's on £350,000 a week. His main skill set and role in the team is to create chances and break down teams that are sat deep defending. Just didn't do it. Why did he keep... Obviously, he wants to get on the ball, but why did he keep coming back to the halfway line to get it?
Yeah.
Find the spaces and then get the ball. And I think that's why players like Ceballos and Xhaka maybe struggled a little bit, because they didn't have an out ball. They didn't have anyone to go to further forward.
Have faith in your other players, because people like Xhaka were looking to offload the ball to someone like Ozil, to the forward line, and Ozil kept on coming back, which obviously really scuppered their plans.
I've used this, we, the Arsenal fan base, have used this word far too many times in Ozil, anonymous. 3.
Yeah.
He gets a 3.
3. Wow. I actually agree with that entirely. Yeah. I think Grumpy Glenn will give him probably a 7 because he loves him.
Glenn, you're mad.
But another player that I thought today probably had the worst showing of his season so far was Lacazette. I thought he was
3 as well.
Absolutely dreadful
3
today.
as well. When that ball drops him in the 6-yard box, when it's like knee height, why is he trying to head it? Put your foot on it. I don't know why he was trying to head it. There was another chance he snatched that inside the box. It just still looks a bit short of confidence, but it's getting to the point where it's now just an excuse, Yeah. Find a way to get your confidence back and just make the right decisions, basically. So 3 for him as well.
Yeah, I think 3 is probably fair. I think Lacazette today, we've spoken about him this season being short of confidence. He got his goal recently, which we thought would really sort of spur him on to really great positive things. But today he just looked so lumbering. He didn't look like he was going to be incisive or dangerous, and he didn't look like... So if you look at a player like his stature, quite strong, quite big, he should be holding players back to give space, but he wasn't doing that either. No. And, well, let's move on to, obviously, our skipper, Aubameyang.
How did he miss? Serge, how did he miss?
I mean, obviously, the goal he got was
a very good goal.
Wonderful, wondrous
he didn't do anything.
Yeah. But was that his fault, or was that the rest of the team's fault?
Well, I mean, he should have maybe been making runs in behind a bit more, how did he miss? Genuinely, how did he miss? He's 6 yards from goal. I would have put my house on him scoring. Yeah. Seriously. I don't know how he put it wide. Obviously, he was distraught at the end. But, he's dragged Arsenal out of so many situations at the time he's been at the club. So, can you maybe excuse him?
So what rating did you give him?
5, I think.
And that is why Dan is not a homeowner currently.
Yeah, my house would have been gone. Cheers, Albert. Should have scored, basically. And if he had, we would have gone through. But as I say, he's time and time again, he's come up with the goods. So,
well, this game, obviously, with going to extra time, we had 4 subs to go through. So I think some of them made sense, some of them were a bit surprising. I want
to start with Socrates. 3. Him and Luiz, when that ball came in, neither of them took responsibility of the situation. They're both just standing there, and they've let El Arabi, who up until that point looked like he'd run out of gas, just get in between them, slide in and score. Yeah. Not good enough. No. It's not good enough. You've got to be switched on and focused in that situation.
Separately, they're fairly decent, but together,
no, they're not.
Together, they are the Chuckle Brothers.
Seriously.
Dreadful.
You're having a stinker when Mustafi is looking the most assured and best performing centre-back, basically.
That haircut has given him the power. He has become a great defender.
Seriously.
The other sub that came on was Torreira, which I thought was actually a very good sub. I thought we needed it.
I thought he did quite well, to be fair.
think he was so required to just... Because at that point, before he came on, the last 5 minutes before he came on, we looked so all over the shop. We were left, right, we were totally
dreadful for 120
awful.
minutes, to be fair.
Yeah, but he came on and gave a little bit of sort of assuredness.
There was a bit of impetus as well, wasn't there? There was a few times he got the ball on the edge of the box and he got his head up and he tried to drive forwards. He had that shot that was saved. Fair play to him for trying to drag Arsenal forward. It's not really what he's best known for. So yeah, 6 for him. I thought it was fairly okay.
And I thought Joe Willett coming on for Bellerin. That was a strange sub.
I mean, it was just, I think it was kind of Arteta just trying to go for it. I don't think Willett really did a lot. 5, 4, 4. 4.
Yeah, I don't think he had enough time to really make an impetus, but at that point, his suffering was the rest of the team.
To be fair, he had 40 minutes in the end.
Yeah, I suppose at the end of it, yeah. And our last sub, what would you give him?
Who would I got? Martinelli.
Yeah. I thought Martinelli...
6. I thought
he should have started myself.
Well, he should have come on for Lacazette a lot sooner than he did.
Yeah.
I think I'll take maybe a penalties in mind with that, but at this point I wouldn't trust Lacazette to put a penalty away. 6. I thought he had a bit of extra energy, a bit of impetus. Obviously, played a role in what turned out to be a completely and utterly pointless goal, regardless of how brilliant it was. 6. Would like to see him a bit more often. It seems like he's not playing as much now under Arteta, but...
So the team average is, the median's probably around 4 5. Obviously a very important game. If you read the programme that we all bought today, Arteta was saying how important this competition was, how important the road to Europe was.
Emphasis on was being past tense.
I was in the podcast saying I really want the scenic route. I really want us to get this. I really want more away days. Arteta mirrored that entirely. Didn't happen.
No.
Team performance wasn't there. What's his rating today?
4. I think obviously he wants to play his strongest team, but we've not really seen many changes in terms of starting 11s in recent weeks. I think maybe some fresh legs might have helped. They seemed to lack that energy at the start of the game and throughout, to be honest. Subs maybe got a little bit wrong as well. I think Martinelli should have come on sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, would I give him 4?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, on a cold, disappointing, disastrous, distraught evening where Arsenal were the second best team, Olympiakos were deservedly better. You've heard the player ratings. Keep watching. We'll have other videos with the press reaction from Laith and Dan about Arteta and what he had to say about what was ultimately a dreadful, shocking performance.
I'm going for a little cry now. Goodbye.